Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And tonight I decided that I'm going to go ahead and open up this 8-pack ready meal. This is a civilian amory that is produced by Ameriqual. I have seen reviews of these on other channels, but I had not had a chance to get a hold of one myself. And thanks to a generous viewer named Diana, she sent me this in that big box of awesomeness that I got earlier this month. So I'm definitely looking forward to digging into this. This is in the same style of bag that is inside of all or nearly all U.S. amories packed by Sepaco, and all of them done by Ameriqual. Warnick doesn't do this unless they source from either of the other two. I finally did find a date code on here, and the first digit is 9, so this is a 2019. And it has a white FRH as opposed to the green ones. Let's see, got emphasis here, booger button, booger butt. Thanks for dropping in. So since this does not come in any other bag, I have a bag in my pocket that I'll be putting all my trash in. So this is the entree, the beef brisket. Might not be able to read the date code on there, but this is a late 2018 pack. This is the nutritional information and ingredients of the brisket. Then there's another retort in here. And the accompanying white sheet on this, au gratin potatoes. So this is the retort for that. And here, that's the date code on that one. Marble pound cake. I haven't seen one of these in quite some time. And this one has a date code stamped on the back. Can look, that's a 8 there for 2018. M&M's. And this has your standard best before date as opposed to a pack date code that you might get if you get these in an actual military ration. Chipotle tortillas. This is a surprise. I didn't expect to have chipotle tortillas in this. and date code stamped on here. Most of the time, the date codes on these things in the military MREs are stamped in, like press stamp. And here is the small accessory pack with a spork. There is a packet of King brand sugar and a seasoning mix. And here is a plain sleeve with just use instructions. You get this type of thing in a mil-spec emery, you are going to get nutritional information on one side and other information on the other side. And that's it. No drink option. So this is what the FRH looks like. It has the APAC logo on there. But it is essentially the same instructions that you would find on a mil-spec ration heater. So since this does not come with a drink option, yet there's a packet of sugar, I think. That's all I can feel that in there is the sugar, nothing else. So fortunately, I do have my stash of instant drinks that I can get into. So that's the spork that will go into my stash. Same with this napkin. This is King brand as well. And this is just pepper. Oh, actually it's not sugar. It's a salt-free seasoning. And yet they also include a pepper packet. So that is what is in the accessory bag. So I am going to go into the kitchen and I'm going to get into my stash after I see the Monte Magnum is here. Thanks for dropping in. I have pulled out one of the Polish herbal tea mixes that I originally got from Nicholas Klo of Killing Zombies, so that's going to go into that mug. And then this is the drink powder that I did not use last week because I had prepared that cherry drink that took forever and a day. Spicy tuna rolls is here. Thanks for dropping in. This one is very clumpy as well, but I'll give that another stir later. I was looking online earlier about info for these, and it said that there would be some kind of a hot drink option as well as a cold drink option, but I don't know if that's current production or if that's only certain menus. So this is a pelletized. But these dissolve pretty good, especially when you make them hot. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these two into the kitchen. And then I'll bring back the hot water for the tea. This is a citrus, and that's already dissolved as soon as that boiling water hit it. I'm going to go ahead and give this another stir. I think I'm going to switch this there we go. That's a little bit more in view. There's nothing for the tortillas, no spread. Let's see how these M&Ms held up. There are the M&Ms. This pound cake looks like it took a bit of a hit. That's the bottom of it. A little bit of a shine on the top. Get these cake crumbs out of here because that's where my two hot items are gonna go. Tortilla separated just fine. Though they probably could break at any moment. And for those just coming in late, this is the APAC Ready Meal from 2019. These do not have menu numbers on them, or at least this one did not. And this one did not have any kind of a drink option, so I went into my stash. Just like I have done when I've gotten into the Chef 5-minute meals. They do not come with any kind of a drink option, so I would get something from my stash for that. I'm actually going to go ahead and split this tortilla. I want to take a taste of it. Tastes just fine. Makes me want to get the jalapeno cheese spread. or at least something to put on it. There's Hugo Homestead in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm just going back through the chat just to make sure I didn't miss anybody coming in. Yeah, this is the civilian ration that was sent to me by viewer Diana. And that was included in that big box of awesomeness that she sent me. She contacted me beforehand, said that she wanted to do it, and she had sent a similar box to Disabled and Prepping. There's Mike Kreischer in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So 8-pack ready meals, the beef brisket, and I had to dig into my stash for drink options. So I have the beef brisket and the scalloped potatoes heating up. I grabbed a Polish citrus herbal tea. And then this is that tropical punch that was in last week's emery that I didn't mix up because I had that cherry drink that I mixed up from the much older emery I'd done ahead of time and just let it hang out in my fridge. Sorry about that, I bumped that. But I'm going to go ahead and get both of those, and I'll be right back. I am back. Got a paper towel to dry these off with. There's James Ortiz in the house. Thanks for dropping in. That one is the beef brisket. Now I'm drying off the scalloped potato pouch. Get that out of the way because I'm done with it. Actually, instead of opening these with the tear notch, I'm going to cut them open. And I'm going to cut them across this way. These look very good. There's Chosick in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And I'm going to cut this across this way. Actually, I probably could have done this with my Tupperware tray. That would have been a lot. This thing is very full. They put a lot of gravy on this brisket. Gonna take a taste of the potatoes by themselves. Definitely a cheddar flavor. And for those just joining in, this is 8-pack ready meals. This one is the beef brisket. There's no drink options in this one, so I got a Polish lemon herbal tea from my stash. That was one of those items that I got in that last box I bought from Nicholas Glow of Killing Zombies. And then this is a tropical punch from last week's emery that I didn't use because I had prepared that much older cherry drink, which tastes just like cherry Kool-Aid. And now I think this might be why there's nothing in here for the tortilla. You could dip your tortilla in the gravy. But this gravy is very good, by the way. There's just a lot of it. There are the pieces of brisket. Yep, tastes pretty good. It tastes just like the beef brisket from 2018 that I got last year. I ended up getting 2 of those from a different seller. So I still have that one. I figured no sense in reviewing both of those since they're the same production date. Or same pack date, not just same pack year, but both the same pack date. So I might give that one away, or I just might save it for like a camping trip or something where I would need to bring part of my own food. Or just when I just don't feel like anything else here at home, you know. Or I could just field strip it and include it in ration mashups. So since these all got mixed together, that's pretty darn good to do that. Mixing the potato in with the brisket. Of course, what would be better would be the mashed potatoes. That would be real good in this. And I can still dip the tortilla in it. I was looking through my box earlier this afternoon, trying to decide which one am I going to pull out, and I just decided to pull this one out. I'm just giving my tropical punch another stir. It still has all this stuff on top. And that is part of that stuff sticking to the side of my drinking jar. I just like dipping this chipotle tortilla in the gravy. Thanks for dropping in, Dave. Tell LJ hi for all of us. I broke the cake in half. Didn't do a whole lot of marbling in this particular one on the inside. It's more so on the outside. Nope, he just took off. Yeah, Booger Butt and Booger Butt is, well, half of that duo is Dave, and then the other half is his son LJ. But because LJ is still in school, plus he does different sports throughout the year. It's just Dave who's coming into these streams a lot of the time. But sometimes both of them are in on the videos. Sometimes it's just Dave. Yeah, the chocolate is mostly on the outside. There's a little streak of it right there. But this actually tastes pretty darn good. Yeah, I do like the combination of the au gratin potatoes and the brisket, but I think the mashed potatoes, if this had the mashed potatoes, that would have been awesome. And if it would have had a different bread instead of the tortillas, it would remind me of the hot beef sandwiches that I grew up with. And you got your two pieces of bread on the outside of the plate. Then you put a big old mound of mashed potatoes in the middle. And then you pour the beef in the gravy that's somewhat like this all over that whole thing. And oh boy, is that good. That was comfort food in our house. We'd eat it at home, and if we were at a restaurant and they served it, then some of us would get that. Yep. Tim loves it. So if you've never tried making that, you should. It's a good meal to have on a cold day, although it's not so cold now. We got up to, I think I saw 67 today for a hike. And tomorrow we could crack 70. That's Fahrenheit. Yeah, the temperature is going down, but I cracked my windows, turned my heater off. It hadn't been running for a few hours anyway because the room temperature in here was higher than what it's set at, and I only set it to kick on when it goes below 64. And this morning when I got up, I rolled back the blanket. So it's just laying at the foot of the bed. Here's Shadow Scout Suite in the house. Thanks for dropping in. M&M's, perfect. It is already Monday morning there on the other side of the pond. So I hope you and them folks are having a good morning so far. So the beef brisket is now mixed with au gratin potatoes, chipotle tortillas, and then I include a spread for them. So I'm dipping them in the gravy. So a little bit of an extra kick to it. Got the marble pound cake here. Yep, and then for Infos, it's 1 hour off from Shadow's time. I keep forgetting whether he is behind or ahead 1 hour of Shadow, so I'm sure he'll say it. Again, this one did not come with a drink option, so this is lemon or citrus herbal tea from a Polish Ration. It's one of those instant pellets. There, Emphos is an hour ahead of Shadow. So I pulled this one out of my little bag of drinks that I will be getting into later. And this is the tropical punch from last week's Emery that I did not open up because I had that much older cherry drink that I spent a lot of time to break up the clumps so I could mix it together, and then I just let that hang out in my fridge. I'm not a real fan of that, but I decided to go ahead and have that one tonight, since this one does not have any kind of a drink option, contrary to what I saw when I was just doing a quick search earlier about what is in there. So I expected to find drink mixes or something, but nothing in this one. And DeCarlos Perry is here. Thanks for dropping in. It would have been nice if this one would have included a spread of some kind for the tortillas or whatever bread they choose to put in it. But this gravy is going to do just fine tonight. Well, Mike, you got a few more others occupying the chairs in the room tonight, since you went away to do whatever you had to do. Oh, this is the same beef brisket that is in the mil-spec Emery that's called beef brisket entree. That's the only one that actually has the word entree in the title. And that's the same on here. And this is what the FRH looks like. It's got the APAC logo. Otherwise, same style as a green FRH bag. And it's got two tear notches. The first one to open the bag itself, to put your pouch in and put your water in. And then the second one down here that you could pull off to make it easier to get the pouch back out. It shows production location of this particular FRH. So that will be going into my stash of ration heater bags. If I were to use it, I probably would just go ahead and throw salt in. That usually helps the older ones kick off better. Although that's not a guarantee that it would work. It's been quite a while since I had an American ration that had 2 hot items in it. I suppose if someone was eating this out in the field somewhere, they could probably eat one of the tortillas while waiting for the retorts to get heated up. Or they'll go straight for the M&Ms or the pound cake. Yeah, I'll have to check that biscuits and gravy went out. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't done a whole lot of the YouTube watching lately because I have been spending a lot of time either in the mosque kitchen or we get supplies in for Ramadan, and I've been putting those away. There is CT in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Got 8-pack ready meal. This one happens to be the beef brisket with the au gratin potatoes that I have mixed together. There's Mama Styles in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Chipotle tortillas. I wish I could go to a store and buy Chipotle tortillas. I love these things. No drink option of any kind, so I raided my stash. The Polish citrus tea. It is definitely lemon. There's something called a citron, but I'm not exactly sure what that is. I don't know if that is a fruit. Or if it's something else with a citrus type flavor. Or maybe it is lemon in another language. I'm not sure. And then this is that weirdness from last week's summary that I did not open up. That tropical punch. I decided to go ahead and get that one out of the way because... Oh, okay. Yep, that answers that question. So citron is lemon in French. Yeah, it is very vibrant, but it always, even if all the powder is dissolved, you still get these little bits left behind until they finally dissolve, or you just drink them. But this red in these things leaves a bit of a tinge behind in my drinking jar. Oh, wow. So CT is having a little roam in the mountains. From what I hear, Wyoming is a very pretty state. I have never been that far west. So I have absolutely no personal experience with it. I have relatives who have been to Colorado. And when my niece and nephews were younger, about 5, 6, 7, they got to go on a couple of these trips, and they got to have a little roam around the foothills of the Rockies. They had a great time there. But I have never been there either, so I would love to go. But I don't know when that'll be happening anytime soon. Yeah, it is. It's that obnoxious red 40, and who knows what else. They probably put some yellow in there. I didn't look at the ingredients for the colors that they put in there, but I'm pretty sure it's some of that. Oh, ouch. Yeah, that foot injury can be a nasty one. My sister next to me in age is probably just now starting to put a little bit of weight on her right foot after surgery she had after Thanksgiving. She had some torn tendons or ligaments or both, plus she had fractures in some of the bones. So her surgeon had to do a lot more fixing than originally anticipated. But earlier this month or late last month, she got rid of the cast and went back to wearing one of those boots that nearly go up to the knee. So she is on temporary disability until she heals up enough where her doctor clears her to go back to work for at least limited duty. So I do hope you heal up soon. And you can be back on your feet. I'm just going to leave this tortilla whole and dip it in there. Yeah, we hope she does have a full recovery by our August family trip that we take to my late dad's favorite Iowa lake. Even if she can't do any fishing like we always do when we're there, or at least she could fish, but someone might have to help her bring her fish in when she catches one. Uh, Thanks for dropping in, CT. Well, that's good that you have someone in the house who can help you do stuff. So my other sister who lives in that same house, she has been doing a lot. Plus, my brother being up here, his pitching in, and then my oldest sister who has her own house, she will pitch in. And of course, I got my niece and her great niece, or her daughter, my great niece, and then my two nephews, my younger nephew and his wife will pitch in when they can. But most of the time, it's my one sister and my brother who are living there who are doing the most. Yeah, when she first had her surgery, or was about to have her surgery, I was saying for a while that if I'm called to go spend time with her, I would. Someone would just have to come pick me up to take me there. But I would definitely go there and hang out, help, do things that she is not able to do right now. But so far, I've never had to do that. Thanks for dropping in, John. Multimagnum is John, but I don't. I usually use their YouTube name most of the time, unless they feel comfortable with their real name, or if that is their YouTube name. But like I said, so far I've never had to go hang out with my sister. But if that is something that I'm called to do, I'll do it. But with her, I think she is starting or has started physical therapy. So she gets rides to the therapy clinic where she goes. And she gets rides to her doctor appointments. And then when she has a prescription that needs to be filled, someone else will go get it for her and bring it back. But if she gets a 3 month supply of it, which for most meds you can do that, and a lot of insurance plans will allow for a given medicine to be filled for 3 month supply instead of 1 month. Some you can get 2 months, sometimes you can get one depending on what it is. I'll go ahead and have a bigger bite of this pound cake. I had a tiny chest nibble of that earlier, but it's perfectly fine. I'm happy with it. Yep, these, when you get a real pattern going on the inside, this one seems to be a lot. See, there is a little bit more, like right there, of the chocolate, but a lot of this one seems to have the vanilla on the inside with some of the chocolate on the outside, but still, to have that pound cake is a real treat. I have not had one of those marble pound cakes in quite a few years. Yeah, you spend that OTC benefit depending on how often you get it. I get mine every 3 months. So I have, for instance, January, February, and March to use it. And then April 1st, I get another reload. But I usually try to use it as soon as I can. Well, CT had to bug out, and John Multimagnum had to bug out. So you missed them, CR. But that benefit is a great thing to have because it gives you that little extra bit of buying power to get some specific items to add to your supply that you can restock. For instance, over-the-counter medicines, certain supplements, certain hygiene products you can get, some medical devices such as a wrist brace or a knee support or one of those reacher things. I got one of those in January. And I showed that in my January shopping haul videos. And those are a very handy thing to have. I've seen groundskeepers use them in the past to pick up trash off the ground and then they just drop that bit in the bucket. When my oldest sister had to replace her fridge in her kitchen because the last one crapped out, her new fridge is taller, so she got a reacher so she can get at things that are on top of the fridge that she otherwise would have been able to reach. And plus, she could use it to get things out of the top shelves of her upper cabinets. So the beef brisket and au gratin potatoes got mixed in. And I happen to like the two together. Yep. Get you stocked up on things like that. I change it up. What I get with mine. Yeah, based on what I feel like I want to have more of each quarter. Well, what would they both be eating? Would they each have a plate of poutine in front of them? Or a ration? I'm that way also, CR. Especially if I'm eating rice. I tend to get hiccups if I eat rice fast. Yeah, agreed, Mike. I would love to go back to the library cafe and have their poutine. The fries still had their crispiness. And the cheddar curds were really good. Oh, it is awesome. It's French fries and then cheese curds. And the place I've had it, they put thinly sliced beef, kind of like what this brisket is like, in the gravy on top of that. There is a Canadian ration menu that features poutine. It doesn't look anywhere near like what I just described, but it's the best you can get for a ration. And the one I had was actually not too bad. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I would get it again if I could. And speaking of IMPs, I would love to get a hold of one of the ones in the plastic bag that has a little pull tab like a mailer. And that is actually waterproof until you open it because it's a plastic bag. And I believe there are some new menus that would be nice to try as well. For the most part, some of the basic items remain the same. There are some of the bars that you get in the IMPs that are different than what's been in the past ones. I've had a couple of the Soldier Fuel bars, and of course the Coffee Crisp. I wish those were available down here. But there's some other bars that I would like to try. Yeah, some people like the date square, some don't. I do like it. I think I've only had one. I guess sometimes they can be a bit dry. But I like dates, so I wouldn't mind having another one of those, and I might experiment with maybe putting a drizzle of something on it. I don't know, maybe honey on it might be good. Oh, yeah. I still have some of those cream cheese icing packets. I could unload one of those on it. That might be pretty good too. You still get the same big old paper towel, and you get that spork that is the same color as a USMRE spoon, but a little bit longer. And thanks for dropping in, Mike. You still get the Tic Tacs, you still get the Canadian Mint. Add a little bit of water to that, and you got yourself a wet wipe. You still get the matches, two drink mixes, usually two of the same kind. You get, I guess the 3-in-1 coffee is in every menu. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but it would be nice to have the Canadian espresso coffee. That was really good. And you always get a better quality beverage bag than you get in the USMRE. Yep, he is about to get his coffee. So next Sunday will be the 3rd of March. And then March 10th is that stupidity thing called daylight saving time starts. And then the day after that, March 11th, is when Ramadan, I think that is our first day of fasting. But and if that is our first day that we Muslims fast, then March 10th, we would have our first long night prayer, because the Islamic day actually starts with sunset the previous day. So if that is the case, then I would not be doing a stream on the 10th. I would be going to the mosque probably earlier in the day. I would probably take the last bus, unless I choose to go earlier than that, to do some final prep. Just maybe start staging stuff for our first meal. And I would just take something to eat for dinner there. Or I might go across the street and get me a pizza. Well, not exactly across the street, but one of the bus stops that I use is right in front of a Little Caesars Pizza. So I would probably go in there, get me a pizza, and eat that, or just take something from home. I don't know. But there's a possibility that March 3rd might be my last stream until after Ramadan. I just have to find out for sure if that will be the case or not. But when I do, I'll go ahead and toss up a community post. I would be spending a good share of the day, because I usually try to be in there around the time of the midday prayer. And then I'm there until after our long night prayer is done, and then someone will give me a ride home. And I come home, put all my stuff down, and then just immediately go to bed. Because then I'll get up super early to have my breakfast before first light even starts. And then I pray my morning prayer, and then I am fasting from that time until just after sunset. So doing it this time of year, it's not as long as when Ramadan happens during the summer. Yesterday when I was at the mosque, there was a guy with two others, one a son and then one a nephew, similar in age to his son, and they cleaned the crap out of the kitchen. There is Diana in the house. Thanks for dropping in. And thanks again for including this APAC ready meal in that box. It did not have any drink options, but I just pulled some from my stash. But It's just as good as in an actual military MRE. All the components are same. Although this was a commercial pack of M&Ms, it had your typical Best Buy date on it instead of a packing date code. Yeah, that is something that all of these packers could do. And it is the same with the Sopaco company. They do a similar type of meal. They may use actual military spec ration heater bag, whereas this one, it's this white one. But for an emergency meal, or if you are camping, you could use something like this. Yeah, it is 8:33. Yeah, we are an hour behind Diana. But again, thanks very much for that a whole box of awesomeness. So all of those items are good additions to my supplies. And another ration into the ration box. Yeah, DeCarlos, you do need to eat something. Unless you're doing a fast. Yep, this thing's a little crooked. I just noticed that. There we go. Yeah, I was just explaining that it's possible that next Sunday may be my last review stream before Ramadan starts. But if that is the case, I'll toss up a community post about it. So I'll have to think about whether I want to go ahead and pull another complete ration out of my box, or if I put together stuff from all the loose items that I have. I have enough Polish items to make a complete meal. I got Polish drinks, which this lemon tea is one. I got a Polish entree. I got those special biscuits that have quite a few different nicknames to them. The crackers with the caraway seeds in them. I really do like those. I got that. I got a Polish jam to go on them. I got Polish chocolate. I ate the other half of that one bar that I opened up previously. So I do have another bar. Oh, it is very good. This particular one is very good. Well, that would be a hard one. I would love to get some of the newer meal cold weather menus. I've heard there are some new ones. I would love to get my paws on one of those. I haven't had an MCW for quite some time. But I have an MCW main, which is the turkey tetrazzini that Mountain House did. I heard some noise that Warnick or whatever company is doing the MCWs have gone with a different supplier for their mains or a different style of packaging. I don't know. I would love to see a new production MCW opened up because I am curious what changes they are in those. And the one menu that I thought I would be able to enjoy, the white outer bag did not say anything about ham being in with the eggs until I opened it up and I saw on the Mountain House bag that that particular item was in had ham on it. I said, nope, that's going to someone else. So I hope that one did get changed, because I'm sure that confused the heck out of a lot of people who would have been issued that particular ration in the field. Whether they changed that, I have no idea. Well, that's good. Because I can't upload any of this stuff here. Doesn't quite work that way. I bought into this cake and it's like there's a tiny bit of a crunch from the sugar on the outside. It is a bit dry, but it still tastes very good. And these M&Ms are absolutely perfect. I would love to see the ration contractors get rid of this red stuff that's in these drinks. Especially this one. There is still that bit that is stuck right there. It has not dissolved or moved. Yes, this is a ball drinking jar. But I won't throw those out. I'll just use them until I don't have them anymore. Oh, a good, proper Chinese fried rice. Yeah, I really do enjoy that. Put bits of scrambled egg in there. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I do enjoy a good fried rice. I don't get it now and then. I have never attempted to make it at home. I've always gotten it at a restaurant. I can't get an electric stove to heat up hot enough to do proper Asian stir fry. I would have to have something that could really crank out the BTUs to get that pan hot enough to cook it so fast. Yeah, either cast iron or a carbon steel. And I don't have anything like that. I have a 6-inch cast iron skillet, and then I have a cast iron pot with a lid, but it's not the shape of a Dutch oven. I do cook in that once in a while, but I re-season it after each time. And the last time I seasoned it, I used beef bacon fat. I did set off my smoke detector doing it, but I did it anyway, and I seasoned the lid as well as the pot. So that's good to go for the next time. But so far, that has only been on an electric stove. That one has never been on a campfire. My little skillet has. I've taken that camping a couple of times. And both of those are found in a thrift store. The pot, I paid a little bit more money than I anticipated, but I wanted it, so I got it. I paid 28 pots for that pot with the lid and $3 for the little skillet. Yep. My grandparents had a few pieces, and my parents got some of those. I think my mom still has one, and I think my sisters have the rest. I did not get any of those. They didn't have a very extensive collection of cast iron, but I did grow up eating food that was cooked in them. So I wanted some for myself. I have no idea what brand they are, but that really doesn't make much of a difference to me. I'm glad to have them. I would like to get at least one more. I would like to have a griddle, even if it's a small one. That would be nice to have. And just for my personal use, I think that would probably be enough. Oh, that's good. There's one really neat mini Dutch oven that I have seen from a couple of British YouTubers. One, the channel name is Kent Survival, as Kent, the county Kent. And he has a mini one that's probably about a liter capacity. And it has a little feet on it. And you can put coals on the lid. And then another British YouTube channel, Simon, A Bloke in the Woods, he has a similar one. And those look so neat. Yeah, Teflon. Yeah, it's a good thing that's phasing out because there are so many issues with it. Oh, brief disconnect. Sorry about that. In fact, we got rid of a pot that was in my that we've used in a mosque kitchen that someone had donated that had that Teflon coating, and it had worn off or started to wear off. And we didn't want to be dealing with that anymore, so that one is gone. And we have some new pots that are either just solid aluminum or they are stainless steel with no coating on the inside. Yeah, and I had washed my pans that had that coating in my dishwasher in the past. Not very often because, especially my wok shaped one, it it's a flat bottom wok basically, but that was so awkward to get in there that I very rarely washed it in a dishwasher. Usually I just wash those by hand anyway. You know, the pots and pans that are part of this set, they're all like this on the bottom, no coating on the inside. So I could wash those in a dishwasher, but I generally don't. I just find them too awkward to try to fit in there. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I have my slider open because it's still warm. So if you, just heard a train horn from the tracks that are a few blocks east of my location. Oh, wow. Now, copper being a good conductor, that would probably spread the heat evenly. Actually, have a little mess kit that is a copper bottom made by the company called Techsport. And it's just a little round pot, maybe about as wide as the inside of this part of my tray, and has a flat bale, not just a wire bale, but like a flat metal bale that can stand up. It has a little lid, and then it has a little fry pan with a folding handle, and then a plate that looks just like the fry pan except a tiny bit smaller that you could use as a lid for that little fry pan. But the pot with its lid nests inside that, and then the handle folds over. The top to keep the set together. So that's a copper bottom. I've never actually cooked in that. I've just used it as something to eat out of. I have seen the cookware with what looks like copper inside, but I think it's more like a ceramic. Inside it just looks like copper because of the color. My oldest sister has one like that. And she always packs it when we do our annual family trip. In fact, my sisters keep totes of all of their utensils and cookware and other things specific for camping. They put plastic bags in there, they may put foil in there, and what they use or what we use out of those, they just replenish. Although last year, no one forgot to replenish coffee filters, but because I had the ones that I had taken home from the mosque when they were not being used. So I was told I could take them home plus the coffee, so I did. I took the Dunkin' Donuts coffee and those big basket coffee filters that are about, like the standard coffee maker size. So I supplied those, and there's still plenty of those filters left, so because that's bigger than my coffee maker, I just keep those in the Ziploc bag, ready for the next time that they're needed. So I will probably, unless they remember to get some, then I'll probably just take mine. Oh, yeah. My sisters are drinking mostly decaf coffee. But my mom still likes the real stuff. But she may drink decaf coffee once in a while. She has one of those Keurigs. I use those little K-cups. I have a bunch of those K-cups, but I don't have that type of coffee maker, but I don't care. Because I experimented with emptying those out into the filter basket of my coffee maker and just brewing it like any other ground coffee. And it works, so why not? I have never heard of the name TextCloud, but now there's a new one that I have seen ads for here on YouTube for a cookware set that is supposed to have all of the properties of Teflon, but not the Teflon, the non-stick coating, and all of the properties of cast iron, but with the weight of a much lighter metal. So I've seen ads for that, but no doubt that set is very expensive. But I never watched the whole ad to see if it showed any of those pans being used over an open fire. I want something that I can use over an open fire and be confident that it's not going to do something weird. Yeah, so cast iron is what people who have the solar ovens, like the sun oven or a different brand or a homemade one. You put a cast iron pan in there, and then you let that heat up before you put the food in there. Of course, it may take a few hours depending on the sun itself and what time you put it out there, but you let that thing get hot and then you put your food in there. That shouldn't take all that much time to cook. But I can't have a sun oven here unless I take it either into the parking lot or into the park and I literally babysit it so no one would take it or do anything with it. Because my deck faces north. And it's the same with my solar panels. I tried putting my folding solar panel out on the deck, but I trickle charged the power station at best. And I had it out there for like 2 days, and it maybe only gained about maybe a 10% more energy in the battery. So that really doesn't work all that well. But it's a 60-watt panel. I do want to get a 100-watt folding panel. but I have no idea when that will happen. But that will definitely have to wait till later in the year, at least. With the move over to the apartment down the hall, I'm not sure exactly when I can start doing that because the management hasn't gotten back to me after the last time I talked to them about it. But of course, a couple of days ago, you know, when we had that cell service outage because of whatever that cause was, it affected my phone service. It affected it wasn't just AT&T based services. Some people who have services based on T-Mobile or Verizon or other, some of those people were affected as well. Well, Shadow, that's good. Yeah, that is great for travel. That's why I got that 60-watt folding panel. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I could not get in on yesterday's stream with the Shadow, so some driver honking on out there for some reason. I have no idea. I don't care. But right now, I just have the mini power stations that I think the biggest one of those is like 230 watts. But I have taken them camping. In fact, when I went to volunteer at the White Eagle Powwow last September, I took my O station that was made by Olight, and at night I would plug in the phone that I'm currently streaming on. I have my other one that did not have a cell service on it because that was my Samsung Galaxy S5, which was, I had service from Sprint, but then that stopped, but I still kept the phone until I got that replaced a few months ago. But, so like this one is my backup. But I use that one for an alarm clock. So I would keep, so I would plug those in at night. And then in case I needed to recharge my headlamp, which I never did have to do, because that thing could go with as little as I ran it. I probably could have gone a couple of weeks before needing to charge that headlamp for as few times as I actually turned it on. Yeah, plus I had another light, a rechargeable light that I would hang inside the teepee. I got to sleep in the teepee instead of having to take my own tent because I camped there. And so I just hung that from one of the strings that ran around the interior of the teepee to hold the lining up that goes a third of the way up the height of the teepee. So just in case I had to recharge that. Plus, if someone else needed some emergency juice, I would have gladly let them borrow it. But no one else needed it, so, but it's good to have some backup power. I would like to have a larger power station, but those are a bit out of my price range. But I did enter a contest, a giveaway on Facebook to win one. And you know what? I won. And this time, it's a 600-watt mini power station. Well, not quite as small as the ones I have now, but it's from a company called Opus, Oupes. At least that's how I'm choosing to pronounce it. Some other YouTubers may pronounce it differently, but that's just how I choose to say it. But anyway, I won a 600-watt power station, and so I responded with my snail mail address. So I don't know if that one will come with a panel. And if it does, it would probably be 100-watt. That'd probably be at least 100-watt panel. Now, these 600-watt power stations are probably not much bigger than the ones I already have. Now, the Tac Life was the first one I got. That's only like 156 watts. Then my Olight O station is 230. So I've had the Tac Life for probably, I think, 3 years or 4. probably closer to 4, and then the O station probably close to 3 years. That's okay, CR. Yep. Some places are still getting dumped on. In fact, I was watching a suspicious observers video earlier today, and or we here on in North America and probably parts of Europe are having really nice weather, and other parts of the world have gotten record snow. And there is a Wickershire project. Thanks for dropping in. Billy is his name. And all I have left are the M&Ms from my beef brisket civilian MRE E-Pack ready meals. Packed in 2019. Oh, wow. Yep, I checked earlier, actually, while I was watching that first hour of Garden State Gardener's Sunday Fun Day, I checked to make sure I was still subscribed because sometimes YouTube will unsubscribe people. Yeah, Garden State Gardener. His Sunday Fun Day. That's his 2-hour live stream that starts at 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. He interviews different people and he does giveaways. He gave away a whole mess of seeds and other stuff. Yeah, I was starting to freeze up just as I was about ready to say that I was going to kick myself out to get ready for my own stream, but I sometimes get that problem with my connection freezing up. So either the video feed freezes, the chat freezes, or I get completely booted out, or I have to boot myself out in order to refresh it. Well, you have, if you can maintain the required number of watch hours within a year's time, plus have a minimum number of subscribers, then you can apply for monetization. No, it involves a bank account. The only time you would use a card is if you are paying either for a channel membership or YouTube Premium, or you're buying a super chat or super sticker or the super thanks. But you could do that with a card or a bank account or PayPal, or you could do it through Google Pay. But I have mine set up to go into my bank account, and I supplied my account number and routing number. So the only time that would change is if I have to change the actual bank account. Because I've had my debit cards hacked, but so far the bank has not decided to close my account because of that. The hacked card just gets frozen, and then I have to get a new card. So how that's getting hacked, I don't know, but within the span of a year, I've had to go through 3 debit card changes. Yeah, it sure is. There's Elsie in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I had just polished off the last of the M&Ms. Other than the M&Ms and that salt-free seasoning and the pepper, well, this is the king. This has been in older USMREs, this brand, but in the form of packets of sugar. This is a salt-free seasoning. And then there's a packet of pepper from the same brand. And then got this napkin and this spork, which is actually pretty beefy. But small compared to my titanium spork. But nevertheless, this gets added to my supply of plastic utensils for use in case I have to severely restrict my water usage. And the napkin will get saved because I didn't use the seasoning packets. They will get saved. And then Diana, the person you see in there with that name, she is the one who sent this ration to me along with that other box of awesomeness. So that is greatly appreciated. So that gave me one more ration to review. A little more cushion before I drop my next ration order. So all those other items have been tucked away in different places. one of those two lights is very similar to one I already have. The shape is the same, but where the LEDs are and how they look are slightly different, but basically the same thing. Of course, I'm not the only one who has benefited from Diana's generosity. Disabled and Prepping has also received goodies from Diana. Some of the same things I got were similar to what she got, and some were different. And one of those items, that single-use heat pack that works like those single-use cold packs, I had never seen that before. That is something very, very awesome to have in your medical supplies. I might have to look into picking up a couple more of those. I have a few of those cold packs, but then I found those BioFreeze cold patches that work like the icy hots, just minus the hot. And I put those in my mosque first aid kit to replace the cold pack that was used. So, in the amount of space one of those single-use cold packs takes up, you could probably put 7 or 8 of those BioFreeze cold patches. So I just took them out of the box, put them in a Ziploc bag, and stuck it in that first aid kit. So now there are 5 cold therapy treatments available instead of just 1, and take up less space. You mean a camera system? It looks like it said CAMER. Yeah, I'm trying to keep things organized here, but I'm running out of things to put those in. Although I do have some, I have a couple of duffels that I can start packing stuff in. In fact, I can use those to put more of my first aid supplies in and hygiene supplies in them prior to me moving down the hall into that other apartment. So I can just leave those things in there instead of emptying those out, because I usually don't travel with a couple of those duffels. Yeah, the flexible fabric, yeah, they do hold up pretty well, but the way I see it, I will take any that I can get. But I agree, they do hold better even when wet. Although occasionally, if I have one on a finger and then I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, the edge might start to fray a little bit. But that's about it. Oh, a striker for a flint and steel? Yeah, I have one of those. Yeah, the Israeli type trauma dressing. Several different companies make them. I have an H1 in the red and white packaging. That's a big one. And then I have a couple of much smaller ones that take up a lot less space, but they're basically the same thing. Well, actually, what you could do, if you buy a box of matches, but you don't use up the striker on the side of that box, you could just cut that out and maybe put it in a small Ziploc bag to protect it. But that could be something that you could do. Or if you get the UCO matches, I'm not sure if you can get strikers for them, spares. Like you can get, if you get one of those match cases for the store matches. I'm not sure if you can just buy the additional striker cards that would be for those. A ferro rod, it's ferro is short for ferrocerium, and it's kind of like it's a rod that you can use with either a sharpened spine of a knife or an actual striker. And what it does is if you hold the striker or the knife on the edge of the spine and you run it across down the length of the rod, it'll spray sparks. And you can look up videos on a ferro rod on YouTube and see probably a million videos of how to use a ferro rod, or just showing it used by a person in the woods. Yeah, there are different techniques for doing that. Then in addition to the round ferro rod, you can now get them in square and hexagon shape, so you have a flat surface to run your striker along. And that would put more sparks down on your tinder. I do not have any of those. I only have the round ones. So if you look for the square or the hexagonal ones, you can find them on eBay or Etsy or certain other sites that sell survival items or bushcraft items. And Nathan 4071 puts up ferro rods on eBay. And those are the ones that I got. Those I bought more of those than others. Then, of course, I won some, and a couple of those that I won came from Nathan 4071. He has a YouTube channel as well. Yeah, flint and steel requires more skill, but I can do it. I just haven't done it lately, but that is also a good skill to learn. Now, the friction fire methods like bow drill and hand drill, and then some other methods I have not attempted. But there are all kinds of videos on YouTube about them as well. Yeah, you can take your basic wooden matches, you can dip them in wax to waterproof them. And then when you go to strike them, you just have to rub the wax off the tip. But that would be the low budget version of the stormproof matches that you will get either from UCAO or what I've gotten in some British and Russian rations that I have. But the companies that made these, that material that they put on the matches to make them waterproof is also combustible so it burns longer. Yeah. And plus with my right knee being in not so great shape with no cartilage in between the bones, it's very difficult to get down on my right knee, which would be how, since I'm right-handed, I would have to be on my right knee, and that I just can't do that for very long. I hope that I would be able to do that once I am able to get the hardware. The kind of hardware that would probably settle a metal detector off at a security checkpoint. I have some of those refillable butane lighters that are like a torch lighter. Then I also have the long utility lighters that are commonly used to light fireplaces and grills. I keep them in their packaging until I need them. Only ones that I might use might be ones that I bring home from the mosque when people start having trouble using it. If it gets to be pretty low, then that one gets replaced with the spare that I keep there. So I bring the older one home, and then that becomes my user should I need it. That way I have not had to open up any of the ones that I buy for myself. I just keep those sealed up. I also have the matches that are usually called fireplace matches that are about that long, maybe. Some might be longer. Yeah, I think I have one or two of those refillable utility lighters. But even those are staying sealed. But I have a couple packages of those long fireplace matches. As a pumpkin meowing. Not sure if you heard that, but I don't know. I don't own a Zippo. My brother does. But I don't own a Zippo. I have a bottle of the Zippo fluid, but I have only used that to refill what I call a forever match. But if all you're smelling is that fuel, I don't know if that's true or not because, like I said, I've never owned a Zippo. The guy who has a channel, Cutlery Lover, he is a Zippo collector. And he has a very unique collection of Zippos and some Zippo lookalikes. But he got those either because someone sent them in a trade. He does a lot of this trading for knives and Zippos and coins and things like that. But he has some very unique Zippo style lighters that he's glad to have in his collection. But mostly it's Zippos. Yeah, there is a Zippo match kit that looks like a bigger version of the UCO match safe. Yeah, there's the refillable hand warmers. Yeah, that is a drawback of that type of lighter. But I think there are some Zippo style lighters that don't have that problem. I may be wrong on that, but I'm guessing. But if you get one of those little forever match things, it's basically a little fuel capsule with a little a stick, a metal stick on the inside of the cap with a little bit of wicking material. And then down the side of it is a small ferro rod. And then you run that tip of that stick with that wicking material down that ferro rod, and it lights up. And then, because that's a metal stick that you're running down that ferro rod with some wicking material attached to it, that's basically your match head. And then when you're done with that, you just put it back in, screw the cap down tight, and it's good to go for the next time you need it. So when I won that, I bought a bottle of the Zippo fluid to put in that. And it probably only takes about maybe a half ounce or maybe an ounce of the Zippo fluid in there. So I should probably get probably 100 uses out of that before I have to refill it. Thanks for dropping in, Tim. I'm probably going to go ahead and call this one good anyway, since I'm just down to my drinks and a few cake crumbs. But I will think about what I'm going to do for next Sunday. And by then, I should have a better idea of if I will be able to stream on the 10th or if I will not be streaming on the 10th. But either case, I will toss up a community post. And then I will also toss up another one if I find out at a different time when I will be able to start putting my stuff in an apartment at the other end of the hall, one door from the end. But because of that one's position relative to the trees that are in the front yard, I might get a tiny bit more light on my deck, especially in the late afternoon and evening, because I will not have the trees directly in front of my apartment, so like I do now. Although I do enjoy looking into the trees. And my cat enjoys watching the birds and the squirrels. But I should know hopefully soon when I can start making that move so I can start working on that. Plus, I will still be spending extra time at the mosque getting stuff ready for Ramadan because we still have more stuff to get in. So that's been keeping me busy lately and keeps me out of trouble half the time, as I like to say. Yeah. Pumpkin is just listening to the noises that are going on outside. I heard a semi truck stop and engage its brakes, and I heard a siren, so there might be going on something outside going on. I have my slider just cracked so I can get some air in, but not open wide enough where she could get on the screen and climb it because she is a screen climber. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. I will let you all know what I will be doing for next Sunday once I decide that. So I could either pull out another complete ration or I could just pull individual items out to create a meal. So I hope you can come for part of all of that. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me tonight and checking out this APAC Ready meal. It was a good one. All mil-spec components except for the little accessory pack and the M&Ms. Anyway, thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.